My name is Lee Knox, and this is the Laramie Wildlife Biologist District 2024 hunting season proposal slideshow. So we're presenting an order of species with pronghorn, mule deer, elk, bighorn sheep, and moose. So the season setting process starts off with data collection and analysis. That's through check stations, hunter surveys, aerial flights. Then we have a regional review where we look at all this information and look at any changes that need to be made. We go through public scoping meetings, landowner meetings, public meetings. There's an internal department review after that. And then there's the proposed seasons to the public, which is currently going on. Then those go back out for regional department review, analysts of public comments, and that's where if we've received a lot of comments to sway a proposal, this is where those get changed. And then the Game and Fish Commission, which will be April 16th through the 17th in Riverton. Start off with pronghorn. First herd is the Centennial pronghorn herd unit. This encompasses hunt areas 37, 44, and 45, mainly in the Laramie Valley. The population objective is 14,000 pronghorn. Our population model estimates we're around 14,600, so we're right there. It's not the greatest model, but I do feel that we are roughly within objective. Hunt areas 45 and 37 appear to be doing quite well. We still have concerns about hunt area 44 between hard winter, severe drought, EHD die-off. That population is nowhere near where we would like it to be. Overall, fawn ratios are a little down this year, which is surprising given the green summer that we had with around an average of 50 per 100 does, below the 5-year average of 55 per 100 does. It's also worth pointing out that that average of 55 per 100 does is typically much lower than we would like, but that's just how long we've been in drought conditions in the Laramie Valley that we now have had a long-term average of suppressed fawn ratios. Buck ratios are above the 5-year at 49 per 100, with the 5-year average around 40, sitting right in the kind of sweet spot of recreational management. Not a lot of changes this year. We made pretty big cuts to 44 last year, so we'll let those sit for a while and see how that plays out. Hunt area 37, we're increasing the season length from October 14th to October 31st, mainly to standardize the season with the hunt areas around it, provide a little more opportunity and potentially spread people out on the hunter management areas in that hunt area. We're increasing the type 1s in hunt area 45 by 50 to provide a little more opportunity. Hunter success continues to be extremely high with over 90% hunter success in hunter area 45. Our next herd is Iron Mountain pronghorn, which is hunt area 38. Pretty much sits between Highway 30, Highway 34, and I-25 and I-80 to the south. It's a pretty large hunt area, population objective of 13,000, recreational management of 30 to 59. Our model it's not the greatest, but it is a long-term estimating this population of around 7,000 pronghorn, well below our population objective, and that's reflected in our incredibly poor fawn ratios around 34 per 100, 5-year average of 49, and this will be an ongoing trend. We've been in drought long enough that long-term trend is a lot lower than we'd even like to see. This is a little surprising given that how green summer was, and it really seems to be an indication that we need those spring snows or snowfall to fill up reservoirs. Rain provides plenty of forage, but water on the landscape is still really limited and may be impacting these fawn survival. Buck ratios have dropped below recreational management. With these poor fawn ratios, we're seeing very low yearling buck ratios, which indicates we're not recruiting these fawns into the population, and that's starting to show. Our 5-year average is around 44, which is pretty good, but this year we did drop well below our objective. This herd is also up for an objective review this year, and we have no proposed changes. So the season change that we do have is to address our below management buck ratios is to reduce the type 2 by 100. So a decrease from 400 to a quota of 300. Cooper Lake Pronghorn is next. That is hunt area 43. It is also only one hunt area in this herd unit. It's kind of a trapped little hunt area. Probably should be a part of the Medicine Bow herd unit, but has little interchange due to I-80 to the south, Highway 30 and the railroad to the north. Kind of keeps them enclosed. This population objective was 3,000. Last year we bumped it up to 5,000 due to public comment and numbers. We reached that objective, and it was the general feel of the number of animals on the landscape was much lower than we all wanted. So population objective of 5,000. Our population estimate is around 4,000. Same recreational management strategy. Fawn ratios did go up this year. They're around 82 per 100. This population can, in good wet summers, really produce some fawns. 5-year average is high, 74 per 100 does. That's kind of what we'd expect out of this hunt area. However, I assume due to drought, we're just not recruiting those into the next year. This population's kind of been stagnant, but maybe this is the year where we finally see it kick back to what it used to be. Buck ratios are starting to hit the minimum for recreational management, around 30 does or 30 bucks per 100 does. 5-year average of 42. We don't have any proposed changes for 2024. We've made significant cuts to this herd the last 3 years, and this is the lowest tag allocation ever in this hunt area. So we're seeing how that plays out. Hunter success did increase from last year, but is still not quite where we would like it to be. Medicine Bow Pronghorn is Laramie's kind of giant herd unit. We share several of those hunt areas with Casper region. It includes hunt areas 30, 31, 32, 42, 46, 47, and 48. That population objective is 40,000. We estimate that we're right up objective around 40,000. We also flew a line transect estimate at the end of the bio year last year, so around June before the fawns are born. So that should be the lowest point of the population before recruitment hits it. And that estimate was around 36,000 pronghorns. So feeling pretty confident that we're kind of dead on the objective currently. Fawn ratios could be better, but they're doing well. 59 per 100, a little below the 5-year average of 67. Buck ratios around 49, 50, above the 5-year average. It is currently up for an objective review, but we have no proposed changes at this time. It's a large herd unit. Portions of it are doing exceptionally well. Trying to increase harvest where we can while maintaining in some of the parts of this herd unit still allowing populations to continue to grow. So the only real change currently, since we've made so many changes last year and the year before, is an increase in hunt area 32 to the type 1s and type 6s by 100 each. So the quota will now be 32 type 1, 700 licenses, and 32 type 6, 500. Those were cut last year due to concerns over severe winter. Really didn't play out when we got on the ground that summer and into the fall hunting season, so putting that opportunity back on the landscape. Mule deer. Sheep Mountain Mule Deer herd unit encompasses hunt areas 61, 74, 75, 76, and 77. Our 2023 postseason population estimate is around 3,400 mule deer. However, our population objective is 10,000. That objective will be up for review in 2025, and we will likely propose decreasing that objective. That objective was set several models ago when we used to estimate closer to 6,000 to 7,000 deer. The current estimate is really driven by a siteability estimate that we flew in 2021, which was around 3,500 deer. This is likely a far more realistic population estimate. I couldn't quite ever understand when we were flying winter range and struggling to count 1,000 deer where these other 5,000 to 6,000 deer could possibly be. So I think that somewhere between 3,000 and 5,000 deer is far more realistic for this herd unit. Fawn ratios were down a little bit from the 5-year average. They're at 54 per 100. 5-year average is closer to 60. We did see a slight trend in lower fawn ratios in hunt area 74 and 75 compared to 76 and 77, which have the Mullen fire scar, which is providing exceptional habitat. 74 is a non-migratory segment of the population, and that area, along with 46 pronghorn, is seeing severe winter and severe drought and a reduction in overall population. Buck ratios continue to remain high throughout the herd unit at 33 bucks per 100 does. 5-year average is 31, exceeding recreational management guidelines. So for 2024, we have no proposed changes. Region D quota is 300, and for reference, CWD prevalence is almost 15%, with an average over with the counting up samples for the last 3 years of a sample size of around 156. This herd unit will be up for CWD surveillance in not this 2024 hunting season, but in 2025, and will likely go mandatory to make sure we get as many samples as possible. So no changes proposed there. Whitetail. One small change, the whitetail deer, 75, 76, 77. Concerns from landowners of lack of buck quality. Looking at harvest records, numbers do seem that harvest is way down. We probably do have fewer whitetail in the landscape. We know we had some EHD outbreaks in the last couple of years in pronghorn. We likely had it in whitetails and we just didn't see it. So shortening that buck season from the end of December to November 30th, still providing that rut hunt Thanksgiving opportunity. Elk. Iron Mountain elk is one hunt area 6, population objective of 1,800, recreational management strategy. Postseason population estimates around 3,500. It's hard to get this model to work, but we did at the end of 2023 in the spring fly a sightability estimate, which once again is really extensive, a lot of flight time. And that estimate came out to around just under 5,000 elk, which we feel pretty confident with, and that's likely where we're at. So season changes to Iron Mountain. We're removing the Type 6 license. We always put as many tags into 6 so that they were always available, so anybody could go buy one at any time to address damage concerns. We now have a new license type, Type 8, which will replace the 6 and will be unlimited, valid off national forest. The other change to the difference between the 6 and the 8 is you can buy as many 8s as you want, and this is directly to address overpopulation, private land damage concerns. We also have concerns over the Type 1 and Type 4 licenses, which are kind of our Pole Mountain National Forest hunt. The quality of that hunt has just really gone downhill the last 10, 15 years, most likely due to just the increase in use in recreation, and there's just less elk hanging out on public land. So still trying to provide somewhat of a quality hunt, but reducing those tag allocations by 25 each. Snowy range elk, population objective is 6,000 elk. Recreational management, our population estimates around 9,000 elk. Calf ratios are pretty good at 3,400, averages around 40. Bull ratios around 20, averages around 30. We don't specifically classify elk in the snowy range. We opportunistically count them when we're doing deer flights. We're putting a lot more money and effort into making sure we know how many mule deer we have. We know we have a lot of elk, so we're just getting those ratios as we go. And bull ratios can vary greatly depending on how warm or mild the winter is versus a cold, heavy snow year. In a cold, heavy snow year, we'll count a lot of bulls. So I would say 20 is probably on the low end. We made a lot of changes to the snowy range hunt areas last year. So the only real changes this year are to hunt area 8. It is predominantly private land with a few BLM mountains right on the Colorado border. We have a couple hundred elk that are year-round Wyoming residents, and then December, January, we have several thousand elk show up from Colorado that are causing cropland damage, rangeland damage. And so we've been increasing the type 6s and 7s in 8 to the point last year they were available clear until the end of the season. So we are removing those with the implementation of this new type 8 license that will be unlimited, and is also, if a landowner has a handful of friends that he wants to allow to kill those elk, they can buy as many tags as they would like. No other changes proposed. Douglas bighorn sheep. So Douglas bighorn sheep is a limited opportunity herd. It's not terribly big. This population mainly lives on the Douglas Creek and Platte River in the Platte Wilderness and Savage Run Wilderness. We have these metrics we keep track of, and we're meeting quite easily. No changes to the quota. We're maintaining the 3 any ram licenses. The only change is we have to constantly play the game with the 90-10 split. So this year we will be taking the 1 resident, and so there'll be, or 1 non-resident, excuse me, and so we will have 2 residents and 1 non-resident available for Hunt Area 18 in 2024. Snowy Range moose. So if you'd like to know more about what's going on Snowy Range moose, I highly encourage you to go look at the Saratoga Biologist PowerPoint. Teal Kafad did an excellent job explaining all the work that she and all of us have been putting into figuring out how many moose we have on the landscape. But the gist of it is last year we created Hunt Area 45, and this year we are splitting out Hunt Areas 38, 41, and 45. 45 being the Pole Mountain Hunt Area, 41 being the Sierra Madre Hunt Area, and 38 being the Snowy Range. So there will be 24 licenses valid in 38, 5 in 41, 5 in 45, increasing the Type 4 cow moose licenses to 30 and allowing them to hunt all 3 hunt areas. The Snowy Range moose is also up for an objective review. Once again, please go see the Saratoga Biologist PowerPoint. But we did an extensive site ability where we flew 60, 70 hours, counted almost 400 moose in a way that we estimate that estimate came back to roughly 1,000 moose. We were able to model it, and that model estimate is also around 1,000 moose, and it's working really well. And since this is one of the premier moose herds in the state, if not the country, we want to make sure that we have the best available data to manage this herd, and we're pretty happy with where this is going. So we'd like to change from a trend count, which was not telling us a whole lot, to a postseason population objective of 950 moose plus or minus 20 to align with our population model, while still keeping all the secondary management objectives of bull quality. That is all I have for my region. If you have want more information on Snowy Range elk and moose or Platte Valley deer, like I said, please go see the Saratoga Biologist slideshow, or Laramie Mountains deer or Area 7. You can go see the Wheatland and Douglas Biologist PowerPoint. Comments to the commission need to be in by March 29th at 5 p.m. Here's a link. You can send them electronically or mail them in. Here's my contact info. If you'd like to discuss any of this further, have questions or concerns. And these are the species and hunt areas that I co-manage or manage, and willing to discuss anything about any of them.